I got $3 sitting at home.
Right, and then you go back down. So, and then
I literally have to fight with my wife today. Sir, I'm never going to call
we talk again one more time.
Test 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. Press mic check 1. 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. Yep. Jim, we're talking. Press check. 1, 2. Mic press check.
They had a chance for 11 points in the last 6 minutes.
That's how it goes too.
The one that he made. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Nothing was clean. Nothing that you saw.
And then it banged around 3 times.
Oh, it's okay.
I said, I guarantee you, it's a solid. He called in every favor he had. He called in every favor he had. Guaranteed. Otherwise, down here, maybe not. Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations to Ohio State team. Played really hard. They played really good defense, and I thought they wore us out. I thought we were worn out at the end, and they part of it obviously is what they're doing against us, and the kid Russell really hit some big buckets for them coming off the bench. But they're well coached, they're well balanced, and we fouled so much. It's the worst that we've been really good at not turning it over and not fouling tonight. I mean, we had 23 fouls, and I think part of that shows it being tired, just not playing with the same foot speed that we normally have. But congratulations to them. Liddell at the end, hit some big buckets, and they're a really good team and great crowd, and it's a good learning experience for kids. So, any questions that you all might have?
Questions first for Wendell.
Wendell, those last few minutes when they went on
12-0 run. Offensively, was it getting tired? Was it getting worn out, like Coach said? Was it something they were doing defensively? What did you see those last few minutes?
I mean, really, I think it came down to they just made more plays than we did at the end of the game. They got the stops they needed to hit big shots. We came down. We got the looks we wanted. Our shots just didn't fall. I mean, sometimes it happens like that. Again, they fought the whole game. Both teams play hard. But at the end of the day, they came out.
Wendell, how did the foul trouble affect you guys defensively in particular?
I think the foul trouble kind of played into what they wanted to do. I feel like they didn't really want to get up and down in the beginning, but once we started fouling, it kind of allowed them to get their breath, come down and run their offensive sets, and they executed at the end. So we keep them off the line, just gave them easy points when the clock wasn't running. So we do a better job keeping them off the line. That lets us play our defense, get on transition like we like to do.
What concerned you most about Ohio State as you prepared for them?
Just how many wild card guys they had. I mean, they have every night that you don't expect him to maybe score a lot of points, but he does that night. And I mean, really for them, I think it could be any guys, not just EJ. The night for them was Zeb Key. He was huge for them in the paint. He scored probably 80% of the time he got the ball in there, and that was a huge thing for them. I think the main thing is they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of guys. They have a lot of guys that we had to look at on the scouting report. They got good shooters that the base can pass out to. Overall, this is a really good team. I mean, we scouted them well. I don't think it had anything to do with the scout. Again, they made one more bucket at the end of the game.
Back in the middle of the room, Steve, can you pass that back?
Hey, Wendell, on that last possession, can you just talk about what you guys were you guys were trying to get, and what were the options there?
Yeah, really, at the end of the game, it was just whatever the best look was. Whoever felt like they had the open look first. Paulo got a good shot in the wing. We had a chance to rebound and they came down with it. So again, sometimes the ball falls like that.
Back in the front. Right in the
Hey, Wendell, Coach mentioned this is going to be a learning experience for you guys, obviously. I know it just happened, but as one of the leaders on this team, what was sort of your message in the locker room and sort of what is the message going forward from here?
I think the main message is we got to learn from it. We got a 2-week break here. So we need to get refreshed, get guys back healthy, just hit the ground running again. Things like this happen sometimes early in the season. So again, we got to take it as a learning experience. We can't be down about it. That in the world is just one game. We got many more games to go. So just keep building, just keep learning from it.
Anything else from Wendell? One more here.
Wendell mentioned guys being wild cards. Cedric Russell hit some big shots. I'm curious how much you guys knew about him. He hadn't played a ton for Ohio State yet this year.
Yeah. Like I said, we didn't know much about him. We knew he could shoot the ball really well. We knew he was a really good guard. But again, he came out and hit some big shots. Like I said before, you never know who is going to be with him.
All right, Wendell, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, just in terms of the fouling, you guys were called 20 times. Can you just speak to the physicality of this game and sort of how different this is from some of the contests you guys have previously played?
Yeah, I didn't think in the first half we were real smart on fouls. And, there are calls, where it's a block or charge and, that type of thing. But overall, we reached out where it's a foul. And then and that accumulates. And then if a guy has foul trouble and you're a little bit tired too, it has an impact on you. It's part of a learning experience of being a good player, being able to play with foul trouble. And but is very uncharacteristic of our team. It's these 7 games that way. My team's played great basketball, and we played a good first half. And at the start of the second half, we did not get stopped. We were still scoring, and then I think we're not getting the stops. We weren't able to lengthen the lead times, and that they just stayed right in there. So it's going back and forth. Then all of a sudden, their freshness and whatever took over.
Coach, the final 5 minutes that, you didn't score a field goal the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
So.
well, we only scored 23 in the half.
Right.
So-
Was that, again, the foul trouble having not the right people
No,
on
I
the court?
think we
Or
didn't finish, and I think when, guys took it to the basket hard, they, it's not like they took a bunch of bad shots. Like Wendell said, you still have to make shots. And if you make one of those, it gives you some oomph, and it just wore on us. And they play good defense too. So just a combination of that. But I trust my guys. I trust them to make plays, and we weren't able to make shots tonight during that time. And again, their defense had a lot to do with it. But we still have to make some shots. I'm not blaming my team at all. I mean, I'm proud of my team.
Mike, you mentioned learning experience. You have an emotional win the other night, then you have to go on the road and a tough place to play. What do you want them to learn from some experience like this?
Well, just what it takes. We put together a very ambitious schedule. You start out with Kentucky, and you have Gonzaga, and you have Ohio State, and you have 5 pretty good teams in between in a 22-day period. And that's a lot. We have a young team. Those guys are real good, but they're young, and they have not gone through anything like this. So it's a period of time. I call it like an energy cycle, and the season has different energy cycles. We knew that we were at the end of this one, and we tried on Sunday and Monday to get our team refreshed. I thought today we were pretty good. And then they play hard, so they wear you out. They're good. It's not just that they make you do those things. So it's a combination. I mean, if they don't show up and play as hard as they do, then those last 5 minutes would have looked different.
Mike, when you're preparing for EJ Liddell, he's going to get a lot of the looks and a lot of the attention. But when Zed Key does what he does tonight, how much did that change the balance of the game?
No, we were prepared for Key also. I mean, we knew that he back to the basket, multiple dribbles, and that they go to him. And but he did a good job again. Defended him better. But again, when you in a game, the other guy's trying to do well, and he did well. He did better than we did. But it wasn't because we didn't know that he could do well. He had really a good game, very methodical and powerful.
Time for a couple more.
Mike, you talk about energy cycles. How much of that is mental? I mean, these 18-year-old kids coming off a big win. How do you?
No, I don't think we certainly did not overlook Ohio State. Like that's the mental part. If you live in the past, so mentally, I thought we were right on target for tonight, and with scouting, respect, and whatever. There's an emotional toll that wears on you too. And look, in order to win big, you got to be able to win multiple big games in a row. If this was a final or the NCAA, you win on a Friday, you got to win on a Sunday. So we were not able to do that. That's kind of how we will talk about this. And in the NCAA, you're going to win a big game on a Thursday or Friday. And then how can you come back? And but again, mentally in that, I thought we were good. I just didn't think we we got it turned around enough against a really good team, a team that'll probably be a good NCAA team.
Last one here.
Paulo never looked overly comfortable tonight. Was that something that Ohio State was doing in particular, or is that just part of his maturation process as a young player?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. He's going to get the best shot of every team. I thought we were playing a little bit too finesse to begin with, and then he started playing powerful. I mean, he's a really good player, and but like we trust him, we like him. We're not going to bench him, and but it's learning for him too. That and you're coming against older guys, older, good, really well coached teams. That this is his 8th college game. So there's always a lot to learn. Yeah.
All right, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Said and dead.
You should make our own TV show, Said and Dead.
I'm telling you, the podcast. So
Do it right.
I'm telling
Guys, you were down 7 with about 4 minutes to go. You closed on a 12-0 run or something like that. What did it take to answer on a night when you weren't taking care of the ball early, you weren't making free throws, you're playing the #1 team? What did it take to close this one out the way that you did?
We just had to get stops on defense. They were getting a lot of transition points. So, we just had to tighten up our defense and get stops. And, we did that and we got the W. So, yeah, we pulled it out.
and really just taking it one possession at a time. Not really thinking about what's up on the scoreboard, but really just coming down, getting one stop, and on the opposite end scoring the ball. So just really taking it one time and winning every possession.
For you, this is obviously a career night to this point for you. What did you like about the matchup that you had, and how did you feel yourself imposing yourself on this game?
Coaches said that he's a really elite shot blocker, Mark Williams, and I've played him before. So, I think it was like in the camp. So, I was just coming in, just get to my spot, and my teammates found me, and they got me in the right spots, and I was able to capitalize.
Cedric, obviously your role has been kind of up and down throughout the year. Just how did it feel, have a moment like that and basically play a significant role in why you guys won tonight?
Really, man, just it felt good, but just staying down and being ready. Being ready for when my number's called, and when that time is arrived, just showcase what I can do. So just staying positive, staying in the the right mind space, and just like I say, staying ready. It felt good, tonight, especially to send those guys out being #1, and that this Coach K's last year, but really just staying in the right headspace, and my teammates staying patting me on the back and keeping me that positivity around me, and like I say, just really staying ready. It felt good though.
For either one of you, what does a win like this do for your guys? It's just confidence level. It's the #1 team in the country, primetime game. You guys have been kind of struggling with some.
It obviously boosts it, but we like to win. W is a W, but we just gotta look on to the next game. We just can't keep our heads in this game. Win over Duke. We got a good Penn State team on Sunday, so we just can't live in the past. We're gonna celebrate the win, most def, but we just gotta look in the future and get ready for Penn State.
Sure.
Cedric, could you first of all slide that mic a little closer to you for us, please? Thank you. And second of all, your first game against Akron was probably not what you wanted defensively, at least. And I wonder how you stayed mentally sharp. Minutes weren't probably what you expected. And then in this game, wow, you get minutes and it's your night.
Yeah. Really, man, just staying the course. I know, God didn't bring me here, to let me down. He got it my whole, my path of my 22 years of living. So just really, having that faith, coming to the gym, doing this, the same workouts every day, staying down, keeping my head down, and continue to work. And like I said, just had that faith. And it was a bunch of emotions, but I didn't give up on myself because at the end of the day, I'm not a quitter, and that's not what I came up here for. So just really trusting my work, trusting in him, and like I say, what God has for you can't no one stop. So just really keeping that faith and continue to work.
Zed, you're operating against a really good shot blocker with Mark Williams, giving up 3-4 inches to him, and kept taking it at him. Just what's your thought about where you're taking your game right now? And does this bring you to another level, I think, playing against a top player like that and having the kind of game that you had? I think you even had a sixth sense. They sent a double team at you one time, and you turned away from it somehow and made the hook in spite of that. Just I don't know, it just seems like you're really starting to get into a groove there.
Yeah, as I said, I've played Mark Williams before, so I know he likes to block shots. So, just got to get into his body and, go over him. Even though the one I didn't do that, he punched it back into me. So, I learned from that. And, just got to go over him. He was trying to block everything. And he doesn't really jump. He stays on the shot fake. So, just got to use my body and physicality. And the coaches said, you just got to be physical and, you're going to get what you want.
Said, you hit a three with about 2.5 minutes to go. EJ got it into the lane and pitched it out there to you in the corner. And I think you kind of hesitated for a second, even double clutched on it, and then sent it up and it went in. And that got the lead down to 2. And I think everybody in the arena at that moment had the sense this was now possible. And just what was your thought receiving that pass, why you didn't shoot it, why you did shoot it, and what you thought when it went in?
Well, initially off the pass, when I caught it, I didn't gather it all the way, and my pinky was off of it, it was kind of behind the ball. So that's why I kind of I hesitated, and then once I gathered it, and he gave me enough space, to get the shot off and get a clean look, and so that's just what I did. But just really I was ready for it, and I told EJ coming out of the huddle, because those guys when on his drive they like to dig and double. So I was like, if they dig, I'm there for you, and. I made the shot, but that was what it is, man. It kind of slipped, so that's why I didn't shoot it initially.
How big of an adjustment has this been since you arrived at Ohio State until kind of getting where you were tonight? What kind of adjustment process has it been for you?
It was just a transition, of a new culture and just obviously everything is new, and this is my first time staying, living outside of where I'm from, so just being able to adapt to that. And it didn't, nothing happens overnight. So just like I say, just really being able to stick it out and through the good times, the bad times, the highs and the lows, just continue to have a level head. And like I say, continue to come to work every day with the mindset to get better. And I feel like once you do that and you do things with a pure heart, everything works itself out.
For Zed, how much more comfortable do you guys feel playing in all these close games to start the season? And how much can that help you guys moving forward?
It's gonna help us a lot, especially playing this early in the season. All these close games against all these good teams. It's gonna help us in the long run because once we start getting the Big Ten and stuff, all these teams are good, and it's not gonna be like a cakewalk for none of these teams. The Big Ten is really good this year. So playing all these tough games early, is getting us ready and paving the road for us for the Big Ten.
That doesn't have or coming in didn't have a lot of experience playing together. And I'm curious about what, say, the Akron win, this win, the Seton Hall win, what does that do to unite a team? How do you guys grow closer from these kind of moments that you guys share together?
Everyone's happy for each other. We were in the locker room and coach made a statement that said when I was getting interviewed, Joey was right there jumping up and down, and that was happy for me. That just shows us the chemistry. We are all here for each other and we love each other. It's like brothers. So, it just shows us how close we are and, winning and, it brings us together. And, we do everything as a team.
You guys just beat the #1 team in the country. What went through your mind as you took down Duke and all that, happens there at the end of the game?
Really, man, just being able to, we was happy that we was able to come in and execute the game plan. And coming into this game, we watched a lot of film, And coach said, that they have a lot of holes in it, like in their game that we can attack. And I feel like, especially in those last like 6 to 7 minutes, we really did that. So just being able to stick to the game plan and execute the game plan is, I feel like that's the, the biggest feeling. And then also, I think in the last 5 minutes they made 1 point. So it was just like we really, dug in on the defensive side of things and, locked in into, what those guys was going to, and it just felt good to come out on top, especially at home.
I think it was like the last couple of seconds. Cedric was at the free throw line. EJ hit the shot, and we were up 3. And I was like, okay, I think did we get a stop? Or you got fouled?
Yeah.
And then, I forgot we were even playing the game anymore. Really, I was just so excited. He hit the 2 free throws, and we up 5. And it wasn't good, but I was already celebrating. But I'm just excited. It was a team win. Team pulled it out. So just gonna get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, Cedric, once you warm up, it was like 6 o'clock as you made your, moves. I don't know how many shots you put up, but you didn't miss many.
Mm-hmm.
When you left the court, did you feel like, hey, I'm feeling it?
Yeah.
I mean, was there some?
Yes, sir, for sure. And that's that wasn't just today. That was everything, every game day thing. So just really, like I say, trying to stay consistent in my approach and my focus and stuff. And like I say, that's something I do on the every game day. And so just really, like I say, it helps me get ready and like when my time is called to go out there and play my ability. So that's, like I said, that's something that I've been kind of routine into my game day routine, and so I'm glad that it was able to pay off tonight. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Zed, late you had 2 pretty good closeouts, I thought, on 13 there to force out of his hands and then force 2 empty possessions. Played 30 minutes. Showed really good burst there to get out to defend that. Like, how much do you think you've grown there? So, like, I guess having the stamina that late in a game where you played that much to make those kind of plays.
I had to help on one of those drives on Justin, and because he was driving down. I think it was Moore. I was driving down the lane, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I just left the shooter wide open in the corner, and I just had to sprint out there, and the coach was like, look, he's gonna shot fake, and he shot faked. And I didn't bite, just got moving feet. I lost a lot of weight. I was at 265, and if I was at 265, he would have went right by me. And I'm at, he went right by me. But, I lost weight, and, I feel better on the court, doing extra conditioning with the coaches and the strength conditioning. Feel better out there.
Where do you at?
252. So at 250, now, give or take. Depends on the day.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's a little more crowded than I've seen it. Great win over an outstanding program and a really, obviously, Hall of Fame legendary coach and terrific team. I thought our guys showed a lot of resiliency. Bottom line, I thought that was kind of our ability to be resilient, to keep coming, to try to win the next possession was really important. And at the end, our players just made enough plays. But I was really proud of their resiliency. I think Duke's going to have a phenomenal year. I think they're really, really gifted and talented. And listen, just like we played them last time, they were coming back from a trip from Maui. This time they were coming back from Vegas. But I don't want to take anything away from our guys. I thought our ability to stay with it was really important. And players win games. Players win games. And we had a number of guys make plays down the stretch.
Like you say, you had a number of guys make plays. EJ's done so much for you, and he hit some of the big shots late. But Cedric gave you a real burst. Zed was consistent throughout the game. What did you get from those two guys in particular that helped you weather when things weren't going very well?
Well, I think, Ced, I think in a lot of ways was Ced and Zed were the difference. I think the production we got, we need some production on the perimeter, but I thought, Cedric had a look in his eyes. He wanted to stay aggressive. I thought Malachi gave us a good burst there early. I thought Ced's ability to step up and that dagger three that he hit there in the corner to, I think, either put us up one or get us, I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't quite a dagger, but it was a really important play for us. And then EJ finishing the game the way he did. We tried to get him to his spots. I told him at halftime, man, hey, listen, nobody out here is better than you. And be that guy in the second half. And I thought his ability to not turn it over, 6 assists, 4 turnovers after having 4 in the first half. Listen, he's got to get better at that. He will. But dude's an absolute warrior. He is an absolute warrior.
Resiliency. You've been in close games. You've been in some of these moments when you're down 7 in the final 4 minutes to the number 1 team. Did you see similar things when you're talking to your guys and when you're drawing things up as you have in some of these other early season close situations?
Yeah, obviously we've had some really dramatic games here, and I don't think that's ending anytime soon. So if you think that, hey, the close games are over, we got another really, really tough challenge on Sunday night. That's the challenge in front of us right now. That's going to go down to the wire, and we need to be able to win the next possession. And there is a tough-mindedness that teams, if they don't have it, they better get it. They better grow it and build it. If you're not tough-minded, you can't do these things. And I think we preach that with our guys. Stay in the moment. I didn't want them to think about being down 13, being down 15, being down 7 in the last 4 minutes. Just win the possession right in front of us. Easier said than done, but that was important.
Coach, in the grind of a season, it can be easy to forget how fun it is for these guys when they beat a team like this at home. What's it like for you to be in this moment, but also to see how much they enjoy it with the crowd storming the court?
Yeah, our crowd was phenomenal. Can I just make sure everybody prints that? Our crowd was phenomenal. Okay. All right. Phenomenal. I know sometimes, right, it's the number 1 team in the country. So there's an expectation. It's a legendary coach. It's a lottery pick. All those things come with it. But we needed all of you tonight, and we need you back. And the next time we play Towson at home, I hope this creates even more interest. Our students were phenomenal. It's a great win in the sense that you feel really good for your players to enjoy that.
For you to see that reaction from them, they're 18, 19-year-old kids, just to see them with other students, because they are students, and go through that with them today.
My first thing was I wanted Duke to get off. I wanted to make sure they were safe. But listen, I hope the students enjoy it well into the morning, safely, but well into the morning. All right. I think that it was great to see our players. If you were in Florida with us, you saw how disappointed we were after that. We played really well. We played really well in stretches in both games, but gave up a lead there against Florida, and it was the different.
We got a number of folks that want questions. Let's try to limit it to one. Try to get out of here before the sun up.
Chris, Ced kind of comes out of nowhere, at least in our. How satisfying is it a coach to see a guy do that? And does it surprise you at all when that happens, when a guy gets in a zone? I mean, he just kind of took over.
Well, he did have a look in his eye. And the bottom line is, and we try to tell this, as players, if you're not playing, if things aren't going well, if you get into your feelings, you're only hurting yourself. You're only stunting your own growth and your own development. If you live in your feelings, I'm not playing as much. I'm not doing this. Coach didn't play me here. I'm missing shots. you live in your feelings, you're only hurting yourself. And I thought he has shown in the last week and a half to 2 weeks the ability to just kind of come to work every day. And he's a really, he had a look in his eye, an aggressive look, which I loved.
Coach, was there maybe a moment down the stretch of the game, last few minutes, where you saw something that went right today that didn't go right in either the Xavier loss or the Florida loss, where you felt like, hey, critical moment, good spot of growth here for our group?
I thought we've executed pretty well late in games, but I thought our execution on both ends tonight, defensively and offensively, was as good as it's been all year. I would just point to that on both ends, if that makes sense.
You had chance to score 11 points at the free throw line in the last 6 minutes of the first half.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
You scored 3. Thank you. I'm glad I lived up to your
I looked over,
expectations.
actually, I'm sitting across, the front, God bless her, in the front row, late in the second half right now, after we miss whatever free throw. And I just saw her as the ball clanged off go, and I thought, yeah, I agree. It was frustrating. But the guys relaxed, and Zed made a couple big ones there late.
But what I was getting at was your talk earlier about being tough-minded. You had that period, and then you had a 4-possession stretch in the second half where they weren't scoring, and you went empty 4 in a row, and EJ never got a shot in that stretch. How do you stay tough-minded when you were really not that in 2 what could have been consequential points of the game?
Yeah, I thought we didn't play with great poise offensively in that stretch. That was my frustration with that. I just didn't think we played with great poise offensively in that sequence of 4 shots where we held them scoreless, and that's where we have to get a little bit better. We just didn't play with good poise or purpose on the offensive end. We did really well late, but we didn't then.
Chris, I know you're big on players win games. You said that already. But you've now beaten a number 1 team here twice, going back to Michigan State. What is it that you and your staff are able to do in these big games like this to get these wins and kind of take credit for yourself and the staff a little bit?
I appreciate you saying that. I just think you're, you want your group to be really aggressive. I think there's an aggressiveness that's required in games like this, and the ability to be resilient and not flinch. I remember the same thing when we were at Butler and we played Villanova. There was in some ways a game like this where it was kind of back and forth. This one was different because in the games that we played like that, I didn't feel like we ever really had a hold of this until the final buzzer. But I think that's just there's an aggressiveness required and a resiliency when you're playing teams like this.
Coach, they shot 22% in the second half. I'm just wondering what you thought you were able to do to make them so uncomfortable on offense.
Yeah, I think Jake Diebler's done a good job with kind of scheming. And bottom line is we had to guard the ball better. We had some self-inflicted mistakes in the first half, fouls, turnovers. Easy transition points for them, loose balls that we couldn't grab that they got. But give them credit. They are phenomenal. Coach K puts them in great position. They attack you. But I just thought they played against a set defense more in the second half.
Chris, of all the things that Zed did well tonight, I thought he had 2 kind of really key closeouts there. Late couple possessions. He played almost 30 minutes. I guess to still have the energy there and the awareness to make those plays, is that sort of indicative of the growth you wanted to see from him this year?
Yeah, he's getting better. And all those people that have clamoring for us to have a center, please, he's a young kid who is growing. He is a center. He's 6'8". He's a little bit shorter than Terrence Styles, but he has 7'1" wingspan. He could score in the low post. He's got to get more fit. But he can be a load down there. He's got to get better. He's got to pass out of certain situations better. But I thought playing 30 minutes speaks to his fitness level. He's in the best shape. His body composition's the best it's been.
Chris, This may be too big of a big picture of a question, but this is your first game against Coach K, right? Like,
Yes.
coaching against him. Just given how the last 6 months have gone here, some of the guys that you're going to rely on later in the season are really young.
Yeah.
It's Coach K, it's #1 team in the country, all that stuff. For you as a coach for this program, what does this kind of do for a program who's trying to really take that next step and getting that confidence in some of these young guys?
I'd have to think about it. You're talking kind of really, which I understand and appreciate the question, and kind of a 30,000-foot view of what this game means. And it's Wednesday, so I'm just trying to get ready for Penn State. I'm just trying to get ready for Penn State. I'm going to go recruiting tomorrow, and I'm going to do cleanup, and I'm going to watch Penn State. I do think it was important for us to your point, to beat a team of this caliber. I thought it was important when we did that against Seton Hall. But the energy around this game, it's hard to minimize how important that is for your school, for your students, and certainly it validates some of the things we've been preaching to our guys about being resilient and tough-minded. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris, Cedric mentioned that there were a couple of things coming into tonight about Duke schematically, player-wise, that you thought you might be able to attack. What were some of those, and what were the things that you were most successful at attacking?
Yeah, you know what? We didn't know we were going to get as much single coverage in the low post, so we changed a little bit. I thought we were a little too tentative in the first half offensively, to be honest with you, and that's my fault. But I thought we could run our offense. We could get some good looks. Their length and disruption is really impressive. But once the game went on, we felt like we could get the ball in the low post. They were really giving EJ a lot of attention, and I felt like that created some opportunities for Zed.
This is a group that hasn't played, 8 games together this year, and came in without a lot of experience playing together. Do these moments, whether it was tonight, Akron, Seton Hall, do these moments kind of unite a team? Do they make a team grow faster? I don't know what your perspective is on that.
I'm sure. I think tough losses do that with the right group. I think tough losses galvanize your group. You got to find a team you can lose with first. We've always said that. I think tough losses prove and can galvanize your group. But certainly a moment like this can bring a group closer together. It can reinforce some of the things we've talked about, especially when you have a lead like they had.
Chris, to follow up on Zed, he's a guy that when he's making plays, he seems like he brings a lot of energy to his teammates, a lot of energy to the crowd. How big is that when you have a guy that really seems to just naturally bring a lot of energy to the people around?
I love his energy. I'd wish he'd run harder and transition when he's raising the roof. That's my biggest frustration with that, because he can get beat down the floor as he's raising the roof. I think you run faster when your hands are down, but I love his energy.
You said a lot in the last couple of weeks and in the preseason that Cedric was somebody you were, working to bring along and get caught up, and you were having some, he was working through that. What have you seen from him in the last couple of weeks that merited, 16 minutes against the #1 team in the country?
He's slowly gotten a little bit better at understanding how we want to do things offensively. He's been aggressive. And again, he had a look in his eye, but I just think there's a trust level that I have to have with him, that we have to have with him. And while they didn't play a ton down in Florida, the minutes that he played were pretty productive. So we went into this game saying, let's give him a look. And I thought he answered the bell.
Coach, turnovers, quite a few in the first half.
Yeah.
Cleaned it up quite a bit in the second half. Was that a point of emphasis at halftime, or were you trying to get the ball in specific guys' hands in the second half to maybe limit those?
No, I just thought we had some careless ones. They contributed to some of our turnovers, but I just thought we had some really careless ones that we've got to do a better job of. Against Penn State on Sunday, we've got to do a better job taking care of the ball. I thought we did a better job. I thought EJ again. He had 4 at half, and I don't think he had one in the second half. He's making decisions out on the perimeter a little bit more this year. So he's got to be able to read those situations in ways a little bit better. And he did that in the second half.
Chris, like you mentioned, you hit the free throws when you had to. But when they're out there and they're working hard and they're clanking away one after another, how do you usually handle it? Do you talk to them about it? Do you not mention it? And you know what I'm thinking about? What's the process you go through when something like that's
Well,
going
I
on?
used to yell at our players for missing free throws, and that doesn't work either. I think you just have to give them confidence. They have good stroke. We have guys on the line that have a good stroke. Some of them have to work like better and harder on their free throw shooting. But it's ultimately, as a coach, honestly, you feel like it's on you. Maybe you haven't done enough to work on that. But more than anything, I wanted them to relax. So we really don't address it. We don't say, God, we got to make our free throws. We really, it's almost like a pitcher no hitter. You just don't address it, at least until after the game. Okay, thanks, guys.